knowledge of respectful basis, gratitude and homage. Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripasindhubhyacha Patitanam Pavnebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha. Let us offer respectful obeisances on our Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees and fulfill the desires of everyone, so full of compassion for all fallen conditioned souls. Jaya Hare Krishna. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, text number 20. As we know, the sages of Naimisharanya have gathered to consider what would be the most important message to give to the residents of Kali Yuga. Radha-Kalachandji ki Jaya. And they had asked Sutta Goswami to actually summarize all of the Vedas into one verse. How can you put everything in creation in terms of knowledge, including transcendental knowledge, into one verse? And he spoke that famous verse, Savekam Samparodharma, Yathar Bhaktir Ahayatukiya Pratihata, Yeyatma Sudasiddhati. So in line with that verse, they had another doubt in their mind, and that doubt related to Lord Balarama. And so today we've heard many nice things said about Lord Balarama by Srila Prabhupada. In the morning session when he spoke, there was just an excellent summary of Lord Balarama. Then again, when he spoke now. It repeated that. But in this verse, we are going to see something that we generally don't hear much about, although it's not Bhagavatam. We don't tend to sort of focus on what we think might not be so important. But when you, at the right time when you see it, you feel like, wow, that's an amazing point that is being made here that can help us in our Krishna consciousness in ways that we can't even imagine. So let's repeat this verse. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1. Text 20. Vitavan kila karmani Vitavan kila karmani Vitavan kila karmani Vitavan kila karmani Saha Ramena Keshavaha Saha Ramena Keshavaha Saha Ramena Keshavaha Atimartyani Bhagavan Atimartyani Bhagavan Atimartyani Bhagavan Atimartyani Bhagavan Buddha Kapatamanushaha Buddha Kapatamanushaha Buddha Kapatamanushaha Buddha Kapatamanushaha Vitavan kila karmani Saharamena Keshavaha Saharamena Keshavaha Atimartyani Bhagavan Atimartyani Bhagavan Buddha Kapatamanushaha Buddha Kapatamanushaha Vitavan kila karmani Saharamena Keshavaha Atimartyani Bhagavan Buddha Kapatamanushaha Vitavan kila karmani Saharamena Keshavaha Atimartyani Bhagavan Buddha Kapatamanushaha Vitavan kila karmani Saharamena Keshavaha Atimartyani Bhagavan Buddha Kapatamanushaha Vitavan done by Kila what? Karmani acts Saha along with Ramena Balaram Keshavaha Sri Krishna,
Sri Krishna,
Bhakti Martyani, superhumans, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Buddha, masked as Kapata, apparently, Manushaha, human being. Translation. By His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. Please repeat after me. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. Support by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya. The doctrines of anthropomorphism and zoomorphism are never applicable to Sri Krishna or the personality of Godhead. Just so you know, anthropomorphism is when you go from a higher personality and then extrapolate to a lower personality. Like, say, for example, in this case, you understand what Krishna is doing, and then you think of humans to be similar in the same light. That's called anthropomorphism. You sort of take something that's bigger and think the small ones are just like that. Zoomorphism is the other way around. As we are as human beings, we think Krishna is. You see, like that. So it goes the other way. Anthropomorphism, and that's what Prabhupada said, neither is applicable to Sri Krishna or the personality of Godhead. The theory that a man becomes God by dint of penance and austerities is very much rampant nowadays, especially in India. Since Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were detected by the sages and saints to be the personality of Godhead, as indicated in revealed scriptures, many unscrupulous men have created their own incarnations. This is anthropomorphism. This process of concocting an incarnation of God has become an ordinary business, especially in Bengal. Any popular personality with a few traits of mystic powers will display some feat of jugglery and easily become an incarnation of God, or an incarnation of Godhead by popular vote. Lord Sri Krishna was not that type of incarnation. He was actually the personality of Godhead from the very beginning of his appearance. He appeared before his so-called mother as four-armed Vishnu. Then, at the request of the mother, he became like a human child and at once left her for another devotee at Gokula, where he was accepted as the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mata. Similarly, Sri Baladeva, the counterpart of Lord Sri Krishna, was also considered a human child born of another wife of Sri Vasudeva. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that his birth and deeds are transcendental, and that anyone who is so fortunate as to know the transcendental nature of his birth and deeds will at once become liberated and eligible to return to the kingdom of God. So knowledge of the transcendental nature of the birth and deeds of Lord Sri Krishna is sufficient for liberation. In the Bhagavatam, the transcendental nature of the Lord is described in 9 cantos, and in the 10th canto, his specific pastimes are taken up. All this becomes known as one's reading of this literature progresses. It is important to note here, however, that he exhibited his divinity even from the lap of his mother, that his deeds are all superhuman. He lifted the Govardhan hill at the age of 7, and all these acts definitely prove him to be actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet, due to his mystic covering, he was always accepted as an ordinary human child by his so-called father and mother and other relatives. Whenever some peculiar task was performed by him, the father and mother took it otherwise, and they remained satisfied with unflinching parental love for their son. As such, the sages of Naimisharanya describe him as apparently resembling a human being, but actually he is the supreme, almighty personality of Godhead. So Krishna and Balarama perform many wonderful pastimes in Vrindavan. And the sages here are wondering, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being and so vast, he performed many superhuman acts. These wonderful pastimes and superhuman acts are recorded in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada presented the summary study of this 10th canto in the Krishna book. You can read this book and relish the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Some of the wonderful pastimes of Lord Balarama are presented in that 10th canto. And that is what I wanted to speak about today. And I wanted to speak about that today in light of why did Krishna and why did Balarama kill demons? You would think that they could have deputed that to somebody else and that could have been done. But as we know, Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya, jnani bhavati bharata, vitthana dharmasya, datmanam sajamya, that he actually comes to establish dharma. What is dharma at its highest peak? Transcendental dharma. So everything he does and everything his brother does is to teach us something that is of great value. So an important spiritual distinction exists between the demons that Krishna kills and those that Balarama kills. There's a distinction. And the distinction is that Krishna's demons represent deeply rooted obstacles that a devotee cannot remove alone. They must be surrendered to God to be cleansed. So this is where we need Sanga. In the case Krishna kills any demon, the purpose, the teaching that he wants to give us, the instruction that he wants to give us, can only be carried out in the association of God. Otherwise it cannot be. In the case of Lord Balarama, his demons represent obstacles that the spiritual seeker must actively endeavor to conquer through personal discipline, guided by the strength of the spiritual master, Guru Tattva, whom Balarama represents. So Balarama, as we heard Srila Prabhupada say this morning, is the original spiritual master. What is the spiritual master's purpose? The spiritual master's purpose is essentially to train us to become spiritual masters. Why? Because that is the order of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Amara Gyan Guruhana Tarai Desh Jaritakataikaha Krishna Upadesh. So how does he do that? He does that based on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in chapter 3. In chapter 3 is like the as it is chapter of the as it is Bhagavad Gita. Why is it the as it is chapter? It is the as it is chapter because in that chapter, Krishna starts giving instructions. And the very first thing he speaks about is the nature of a person. And he says that we can only find Krishna according to our own nature. Krishna has given each of us a particular nature, and that nature must be used to actually come to know Krishna. Why? Because Krishna manifested so many persons, right? He manifested so many living entities, uncountable number of living entities. And Krishna is not a one-trick pony. He likes variety. He loves variety. He loves every devotee, how he or she will serve him in his or her own particular rasa. Rasa starts with nature. What is your nature? What do you really, really love in your life? If you really, really love something in your life, use that and do that to please Krishna. That's it. That's the whole Bhagavad Gita in action. So, most of us, we try to give up our nature. We think, but my nature is material. I must give up material nature. Yes, it is material if it is used for sense gratification. But it is not material if it is done for Krishna's pleasure. Genuinely Krishna's pleasure. Understanding that my senses belong to Krishna. They're not my senses. I don't own my senses. The senses were given to me by Krishna. Right? Just like you might say, this microphone is given to me by the auspicious of the temple. It's not my microphone, right? I can't start thinking to myself, this is my microphone. After I finish class, I take the microphone, put it in my pocket, and walk away with it, and start using it for myself. You see what I'm saying? That is misuse of property. So the same way it is misuse of property to think that our senses belong to us. They don't. They belong to Krishna. Krishna is the master of the senses. Everyone's senses, not just his senses, of all senses. So, Lord Balarama, as the original spiritual master, his purpose is to tell us how we can actually control our senses, how we can control our mind, how we can control our intelligence, how we can control our emotions, how we can control our ego, actually our own consciousness. How can we control this? And what does it mean to control? There are two aspects to control. There is the aspect of Narayana. Narayana is the original supreme personality of controller Godhead. Krishna is the original supreme personality of lover Godhead. So there's two ways to control. You can control by mastering over somebody, or you can control by love. Right? Parents first try to control their children by mastery. And what happens? Oh my God. They need control themselves after that. It's like they need to go and get some therapy. Right? I need some guidance, I need some coaching here. How do I handle my children? But those parents who actually control their children with love, they're easily able to get children under control. We've seen that at our TKG Academy. I've seen again and again, because when I first became temple president, I also became the chair of the board. Eric is there. And so my house is right next to and I would see some children were like so misbehaved. I would be yelling at the top of their voice, the smallest thing that touches them, they start crying, and it's like throwing a fit. And I would see the teachers come and hug them, and hold them tightly, and just assure them everything's okay. Now, normally teachers don't do that, right? Normally teachers instruct. And by that instruction, the child is supposed to learn. But actually, in the earliest phases, children don't learn like that. They learn only by being given a lot of love. So, control actually really means for us is how we can do things in a way that we love the fact that we are servants of Krishna. We're so happy that we're servants of Krishna. We're so happy to do that service in some particular way, whether as a friend, whether as a devotee, whether as a parent, whether it's a beloved, whatever role that suits us because of our nature, because that's our nature. We don't concoct the role, but we understand, since that is my nature, I will do things accordingly. And so Lord Balarama, when he actually kills the demons, this is the message he gives in all of his killing. So we're going to start with some of them. Of course, we have little time, so we're not going to get through all of them. But we'll start with the one that everybody describes as the most famous of Balarama's slain demons, and that is the demon Dhenukasura, the ass demon. Right? A very good reason, because that's what we are, right? Some might like to describe us like that. So the setting is that Lord Krishna, Balarama and their cowherd friends wanted to eat some sweet, fragrant fruits of the Talavan forest, which were guarded by the fierce demon Dhenukasura, who took the form of a donkey. So Balarama entered the forest and shook the trees to make the ripe fruits fall. Hearing the noise, Dhenukasura rushed in and furiously kicked Balarama in the chest. Balarama grabbed the donkey demon by his hind legs, swung him around with incredible force until he died, and hurled his heavy body into the top of a palm tree, knocking down other trees as well. So now you normally got the fruit. The whole tree came down and offered their obeisances to Balarama. This is his power, right? After that, what happened was that Dhenukasura's demon friends, the demons never work alone. They're very smart. They know power lies in association. They know that. So they always come in gangs, As one leader, but he'll have a whole bunch of them behind him, and normally the other ones come front, and then the leader comes at the end, when they can't handle the situation. But in this case, Dhenukasura was very clear to them that he was going to take care of this little boy. He looked like, Balarama is actually very delicate. When you look at him, he looks very delicate. You can easily, make a mistake and think that, he can be easily overcome. He's the most difficult person to overcome, the hardest person to overcome. Anyway, Dhenukasura's demon friends then attacked Krishna and Balarama, but the brothers quickly dispatched them too, making the forest safe for everyone. So the symbol of this pastime is that gross materialistic intelligence and ignorance of spiritual identity. These are the two things it actually addresses. First is gross materialistic intelligence. This world is suffering because of materialistic intelligence. Materialistic intelligence comes from materialistic knowledge. Knowledge is also of two types: secure knowledge and insecure knowledge. Secure knowledge is called prama. Prama means knowledge that is true at all times, in all places, for everyone, and under all circumstances. If some knowledge is true in all these four variables, that is called prama. Or secure knowledge. That knowledge will always work. Aprama is insecure knowledge, which is sometimes true for some people in some places under some circumstances. The material world runs on aprama. Because it runs on aprama, that intelligence actually creates two results: misery and instability.
And what?
Misery and instability. Everything becomes unsecure. Nothing is secure. You may be going along in your life thinking everything's going fine. One fine day, something happens, and you think, whoa, I can't handle this situation. I might like to commit suicide or do something like that. Take some drastic action to deal with it, because the problem is so big. Right? Right now, the world is going through that insecure phase, because we're going through a type of transformation that happens every 5 years when certain planets get together. And a renaissance happens. So we're going through a renaissance right now. And the renaissance, the first 50 and sometimes 60 years, and it started in 2019, by the way, so it'll go on to 2069. Some of us are thinking, hopefully, there'll be resolution on a daily basis, there's no resolution. Not for another 26 to 59 is what, 33 years? It's a long time, right? That we've got to wait. But that's the cleansing period. In the cleansing period, things really go wrong. It's a little like you have a very dirty house and you clean it, you become dirty yourself. You see what I'm saying? Well, you're cleansing it, you become dirty, right? So that's what's happening right now. Humanity is going through that type of a phase. And that phase was brought about by our own knowledge. And now we're pumping that knowledge to its highest degree. Because what AI is doing? AI is taking materialistic knowledge and hyping it to its highest level. And people think, wow, that's great, now we'll do better. But actually, they're going to do more miserably and more instability. But it'll look better because that was the conditioning. The conditioning was, it is better if I become rich and famous without spirituality. It is better. In fact, the top owners of the 5 biggest companies in the world are all atheists. None of them believe in God. So if you really want to become rich and famous, my suggestion would be become an atheist. That's what it looks like in this world. It's not true. If you think about it, if you look back into history, the richest people in the world were all Krishna's devotees. The most famous people in the world were all Krishna's devotees. The most powerful people in the world, all Krishna's devotees. The most, what's the next one? Beautiful people in the world, all Krishna's devotees. Right? The most powerful people, all Krishna's devotees. Most famous, all Krishna's devotees. The most renounced, all. So if you look at the 6 opulences and look at the top people in all of them, all Krishna's devotees. So you would think that, understanding that, people would think, hey, I should become a devotee of Krishna if I want to become the richest and the most famous. But no, look at it now. It's like they're not so happy with the Hare Krishna movement. In fact, they think the Hare Krishnas are useless people. Hare Krishnas are made up of people who fail in material life, and because they failed in material life, they took to spiritual life. Actually, the truth is just the opposite. Those who failed in spiritual life took to material life. That's the real truth of the matter. But nobody thinks like that. And then ignorance. Ignorance is because of Maya. Maya's purpose is to first put us into ignorance, it's called her covering potency, and then to throw us so far away that we'll never get out of that ignorance. That's Maya's job, right? So the donkey is a symbol of a beast of burden. And what do people say these days? If you want to become rich, you have to work hard. The donkey is the beast of burden. In fact, one of our political parties in America uses the S as its symbol. I'm not decrying the party, by the way. I'm saying that's the extent to which people have adopted this philosophy, the donkey philosophy, the ass philosophy. That works, and this donkey, the beast of burden, works tirelessly for meager rewards. A few scraps of grass, that's what the donkey works for, while remaining oblivious to its higher purpose. Dhenukasura represents a mindset anchored entirely in bodily identification, blind stubbornness, and heavy materialistic toil that leaves a person too spiritually exhausted or indifferent to recognize the soul's relationship with Krishna. So this is a very important lesson that we learn from this. How to do things so that we never lose sight of our meaning and purpose. We must never lose sight of the fact that we are children of Krishna. Since Krishna is the greatest, the children are meant to be the greatest too, right? You know, Bill Gates has a daughter, right? So he expects that she will do better than he did in his life. Now that may not be possible because he did really great from a materialistic point of view, right? But that is his intention. And then what happens? She decides to have a relationship with a non-white person, and that bothers the father. And he thinks, oh my God, it's not a good choice. You're going to have a problem in your life's going to be a mess. And the daughter is saying, I'm old enough to decide that. I'll do whatever I want to do. So the father, with all of his wealth, can't solve the problem. And here we are, ordinary devotees. And I say ordinary, we're not extraordinary devotees. And most of us are not even devotees. I'm not, for sure. Devotee means something truly amazing. One becomes a devotee. But even though we are trying to become devotees, we're trying to become servants, we're able to look after our children who marry into another race. How many times that has happened, right? My younger son did that. You know, right? You've done that. Temple president. And what's happened? Have things gone wrong? Have we worried about it? Have we had sleepless nights? No, I think I've slept better in my night. I've had better sleep, knowing that my son married a nice devotee. And that now his devotion will be more secure. Because if the wife's with you, they say, happy wife, happy life, right? So if the wife's supporting you, there's a better chance you're going to be happy in the prosecution of your Krishna consciousness. Just the way life works. So, Lord Balarama actually wants us to understand that this is the very first lesson we should learn in our lives. Always keep sight of the fact, what is my purpose? And for all of us, we really have only one purpose, and that is Krishna Prema. We say that every morning after we do our arati, right? We chant the 10 offenses, and at the end we say that the ultimate purpose of life is Krishna Prema. Why Krishna Prema? Because it is inside Krishna Prema that everything of value happens. Outside of Krishna Prema, everything of non-value happens. But we're an illusion. We're taking non-value as value and value as non-value. This is the problem with material. And as a result, we're having issues. Second is Pralambasura. He's called the infiltrating demon. Infiltrating demon, right? You got your army and then somebody infiltrates the army and it causes a mess inside the army, right? So the pastime is that while the cowherd boys were playing a jumping game called Harina-Kirtana, Brahmasura disguised himself as a boy to infiltrate them. The losing side had to carry the winners on their backs. So Brahmasura carried Balaram and quickly ran off, expanding his body into a massive, terrifying demonic form. Krishna called out to remind Balaram of his divine strength. See, Balaram sometimes gets carried away too. You know, his nature is that he's a very soft-hearted person. He's a very loving person. Just amazing person. You know, today is Balaram Parents' Day, and in some temples they make a drink called the Varuni drink. And this Varuni drink is so heavy that if you drink enough of it, you will get intoxicated. You know. And so I remember one time I went to a temple in Australia on a hill called New Govardhan. Some of you may know this place in Mobolaba. And so there they do this. Every year they make this Varuni drink. And literally you see the kids and the devotees behaving in ways they don't normally behave. You know. And they have such a good time about it. You know. It's just amazing that they do that. So this is Balaram. His nature is like that. He will from time to time allow himself to get into an emotional state or something like that. So he was probably enjoying himself, thinking, oh wow, this is a great ride. I mean, my ride is the very biggest ride, right? Everybody got a small ride, I got a big ride. So Krishna has to remind him, hey, this is a demon you're dealing with. You haven't got a big ride here, bro. You got a problem on your hands very soon. So please use your divine strength. So then, Balaram then struck the demon's head with his fist, fracturing his skull and killing him instantly. So what happened was, what it symbolizes is lust, greed, and the pursuit of prestige, profit, and honor. This is called pratishtha, right? So Prahlada disguised himself as a friend to infiltrate the cowherd boys, which represents how egoistic desires hide under the guise of healthy self-esteem or harmless enjoyment. These two areas. So, but we are told, right, that we should all have some self-esteem. But sometimes, what creeps into that self-esteem are qualities that actually turn the self-esteem into lust, the desire to enjoy the senses, one's own senses. So he symbolizes, Prahlada symbolizes subtle and gross material lust, the urge to exploit others, and the dangerous spiritual trap of seeking admiration. This is so easy to fall into this trap, right? We all seek admiration, and the admiration doesn't always have to be gross. It can be very subtle. We do it in very subtle ways, you know? Fame, the same for fame, the spiritual trap of fame, pratishta, and personal gain out of religious practice rather than practicing pure devotion. This is a very important point to know. We are not practicing bhakti to progress in devotion. That is not why we should be practicing bhakti. If you're practicing bhakti so that you can become more advanced in bhakti, then all that will happen is that you will be in illusion. You'll think you're making advancement, but you're actually making no advancement. It's like, what is that road that goes on a wheel? The hamster. The hamster thinks it's making a lot of progress, right? But someone who's looking at the hamster knows the hamster is going nowhere. It's making a lot of effort, but going nowhere. That can happen to us. The only purpose of bhakti is to please Krishna. Do it to please Krishna. Don't do it so that you can become more advanced, I can become more advanced. That is not the purpose of bhakti. The purpose of bhakti is to please Krishna. And how will we become more advanced? If Krishna grants the mercy. It's His mercy that creates advancement. Nothing else. Our effort does not create advancement. Although there is a Leela, the Leela that is painting at the back, Damodar Leela, that says there are two aspects, right? There is mercy and there is endeavor. But the endeavor is not for progress. The endeavor is to please Krishna. So if we are doing things to please Krishna, and that is the only purpose, not worrying about it. Like after I understood this a little bit, I decided when I give class, I don't have to worry whether my class was a good class or not. I don't have to worry about it. That's not my business to worry whether it's a good class or not. That's Krishna's business. Krishna says that, right, in Bhagavad Gita. You do your duty and leave the result to me. Well, I'll leave the result to him. If he thinks it's the worst class ever, and everybody thinks, whoa, that was a really bad class, man. I just wasted my time. I don't think I'd like to listen to that person again. From my point of view, I'm totally successful. Because I did not do it. I did not do it to actually get accolades or to hear, wow, what a nice class, Prabhu. That was a nice class. That's not the reason to give class. The only reason you should give class, the only reason you should drink some water, the only reason you should breathe is the same reason. There's only one reason to do anything in life, and that is to please Krishna. So if you're asked to give class and you're giving class, the first thing that should go into your mind is, oh Krishna, I hope you'll be pleased. I hope you'll be pleased. I really want to please you. But you know what I'm like. I'm a fool. So obviously I'm not going to give a nice class. There are going to be problems. There'll be things that people will find as faults in the class. When I realized that, I realized my brand. My brand is Nityananda knows nothing about anything. That's my brand. And people think, then why are you speaking? If you know nothing about anything, why are you wasting everybody's time by speaking? It's because I'm trying to repeat. I'm not trying to speak what I think is right. I'm trying to speak what I have heard is correct from the acharyas. And it is our business to proliferate that knowledge. It is our business. That is why the best thing in this world is book distribution. It is the number one activity anybody can perform because these books are so potent. If you know the story of how the books came, you'll faint. Why Prabhupada came on this planet? His only purpose was these books. He didn't want to come. He told Krishna, no way, Jose, I'm not going to the material world. I know what your mind is like. I know your mind inside out, man. Even the best devotees fall because of mine. I don't want to go and fall there, thank you. I don't want to forget you. I want to always love you. So please send somebody else. Oh, this nice person, that nice person. Send that one. That one's good. That one's good. And Krishna is picnic after picnic after picnic, nudging him and saying, please, do this for me, do this for me, do this for me. Finally, Krishna gives him a deal. Because Prabhupada, there is no better negotiator than Prabhupada. Try and figure out anybody on the planet who negotiated like Prabhupada. You know when the books were written, the first books were printed, they didn't even have any money. How do you print books without money? That's Prabhupada. They figured it out how to do it. You know, and today we've got millions of books out there, right? So finally, Krishna said, okay, I'll cut you a deal. Prabhupada said, yeah, go ahead. You know, try. Prabhupada wasn't going to agree. So Krishna said, okay, just go, drop your books and come back. Prabhupada thought about it and he thought, looks like there's an opening here, you know? In negotiation, you look for openings, right? Looks like there's a... Prabhupada said, okay, I cut you a deal. Now, Krishna can't say no, right? If you cut deals, I can cut deals too, right? What's good for the goose, they say it's good for the gander, right? So Prabhupada said, I cut you a deal too. So Krishna said, what's your deal? He said, your Maya will not touch me. His was one line, Prabhupada's one line. Your Maya will not touch me. Prabhupada made two statements nobody can make. Never in my life I forgot Krishna. Never. Can anybody say that? I mean, what I probably can say, never in my life I remember Krishna. That might be possible for me to say. But never in my life I forgot Krishna? Who can say that? The second thing he said was even more difficult. He said, never in my life I committed a sin. Oh, God. We commit sins all the time. We're breathing in air, right? All these indigopas are going into our tummy, and the fire in the tummy is so hot, they die inside there. We kill those people. We kill all those indigopas. We're murderers. You know? We're big murderers. That's what we are. We are walking, talking murderers. We commit sin all the time. He said, I've never committed a sin. How is that possible? How is that even possible? It's not possible, except for Krishna's word. If Krishna says, Maya will not touch you, Maya will not touch you, right? That's why when Krishna said to Yudhishthira, say it, Ashwatthama is dead. Yudhishthira is thinking what? Dharma. Oh, I can't say that. It's not true. And consequently, he had to suffer because he did not accept Krishna's word. Krishna never says something that is anything less than amazingly compelling. Anything he says is very compelling. So, here in this infiltrating demon pastime, we get to understand that we should never do anything for personal gain out of religious practice, personal gain, rather than practicing pure devotion. Pure devotion means I only did it for Krishna. Now, you may not have done it for Krishna. You might have thought you're doing it for Krishna, but you really weren't. Why? Because there are anarthas inside us that are so subtle that they can make us do things that we think is for Krishna, but not really. You know, in a very subtle way, we're still doing it for ourselves. But that's okay. Krishna knows that if your purpose in life is to become a brain surgeon, you're not going to become a brain surgeon 1 week after you're born, right? I mean, you don't yell at your 1-year-old baby and say, "Why are you not a brain surgeon yet?" We don't yell at the baby. We know the baby has to go through progress. Progress is the mother of success. Just learn this one line. It will make it very easy for you to live your life. Progress is the mother of success. When you're progressing, higher and higher levels of success are automatically happening. Just like we progressed through school, right? And we went all the way to university. At every level in that school, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, we made more and more success, right? We met more and more success. Progress in Krishna consciousness is all we have to do. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, if you are progressing, I will take care of the balance. The only purpose is to progress. Now, progress, there's no requirement that the progress has to be rapid. It doesn't have to be fast. It can be minuscule, but still progressing. So just keep progressing in life, and the progress has only one purpose, and that is to end in one particular spot. And that spot is, I please Krishna. That's the spot we want to land in. When you land in that spot, what you realize is that spot is much bigger than you thought it was. And that pleasing Krishna has no end to it. It only gets more and more and more. You know? Radharani, it is said, never makes the same preparation twice. Why? Because Krishna never eats the same preparation twice. So Radharani has to keep figuring out new and new recipes to please Krishna. And yet we talk about the same sweet rice, right? That Krishna loves sweet rice. But that sweet rice is not the same sweet rice the second time, the third time, the fourth time. So our Krishna consciousness is like that. We may rise to a very high level. We may become a guru with 100,000 disciples. But there's still progress that is required. In fact, Prabhupada makes a very amazing statement. You know, Prabhupada says things that sometimes knock you off your feet, you know. He says, actually, the spiritual masters who have lots of disciples are vines growing in Vrindavan. These vines, they saw the gopis did this service, the gopas did that service, the cows did that service. We as a vine, we're just hanging around a tree, right? So they aspire to do a lot of service for Krishna. So Krishna says, okay, go to the spiritual world, become a great spiritual master. And now, you're given great devotional service, right? Because how many disciples you help to become devotees? And some of those disciples are going to be gopis in the future, right? And the spiritual master gets the credit, by the way. Every time you preach to somebody and that person takes to Krishna consciousness, you get the eternal benefit of all the progress they make in their Krishna consciousness because you became the Vardhaman, Padashta Guru, or Siksha Guru. You became the person who showed them the path, or you gave them some guidance. Which guidance made them feel like, yes, Krishna consciousness is the best. I must take to Krishna consciousness. This is why preaching is the essence. So I'm going to stop here because I can continue this for a very long time. There are 5 more demons. Balarama killed all of them with some nice instructions in them. I'm going to stop here and say, please, if any of you have anything you'd like to say or ask, please, yes, Mother, you're staying right at the back. I want to speak a little loudly. Or you could share the mic. Oh, there's a mic there. Nice.
Thank you so much for such a practical class. So you said that our goal in life is to please Krishna at every step. So how would we know that whatever we are doing, and Krishna is pleased with us?
Yes, that's a very good question. So First answer is, it is not our business to know whether Krishna is pleased or not. That's Krishna's business, right? If you are pleased or not is whose first business? Your own business, right? You're the one who knows you're pleased or not pleased. Anybody can say whatever they like. How many times in our life we've seen people come to us and deal with us in a way, and they thought they pleased us, and actually they didn't please us at all. You see what I'm saying? Or they thought they were not pleasing us, and they pleased us. I mean, all of us probably can say, we have some examples where some devotee did something really bad to us. I mean, really nasty. I really hurt. And as a result of that, some other situation developed, and you got advantage of that situation. As a result of which, you're far better off now than you were before that incident happened. So it's like they bumped you from one incident into another one. That other one was much better and bigger. They didn't please you, right? But they pleased you. You see what I'm saying? So, we should not try to speculate whether Krishna is pleased or not pleased. I don't think that's our business. Don't speculate, because it's a speculation anyway. At best, it's a speculation. Whether Krishna is pleased or not is indicated by the fact that he gives us some mercy. Some mercy. Now, what is mercy? We really need to know this word properly. Mercy doesn't mean something good happened. Mercy in the material world means something bad happened. Because good will make us feel, I'm okay. Things are going good. It's all right. I'm okay. And something bad happens, you start scratching your head and start thinking, right? Hey, why did that happen? What's supposed to happen here? Why did Krishna do that to me? You go to Kalachandji and you complain, right? Kalachandji, hey, what's up, man? What's up, bro? Why? What did I do? Why do I have to suffer? Why do I have to suffer like this? And what's Kalachandji think? Ha! Now he's talking to me. See, before he wasn't even talking to me. Now he's talking to me, right? And that's pretty good. Everything starts with a conversation, right? So now you're having a conversation with God, with Krishna. Krishna is happy when you're having a conversation. So slowly you learn, I should have conversations with Krishna. I should talk to Krishna. Now you might say, well, I'm talking to myself. You're not talking to yourself. Krishna is listening. Have a form of Krishna in your heart that is always in a picture form, that is your favorite form, your favorite picture. And then keep talking to that person. All the good and bad that happens in your life, talk. Now, children find it very easy to do that. Adults find it very hard. Why? It's an ego issue, right? I don't think Krishna's going to listen to me. It's not because Krishna's not going to listen to you. It's because you're too damn lazy to talk to Krishna. That's the problem. The problem is we're lazy. Sorry, I used the word there. Shouldn't have done that on the class. On front of especially Radha-Rani. But you get carried away, right? Emotions. That's one of my weaknesses. So, point is, please talk to Krishna. Right? So when you talk to Krishna, Krishna will talk to you. First, he won't talk to you directly. First, he'll talk through other people, through billboards. How many times we see something with Iki, right? And we come across something and we say, wow, Krishna just gave you the answer. Especially Prabhupada's books, right? You open a Prabhupada's book and you read and you think, wow, that makes a lot of sense to me. Because we're right in that situation. That's Krishna speaking through Prabhupada's writings. Right? So first Krishna speaks like that. Then Krishna will start speaking in ways that are within your service itself. You'll notice in your service things happening that could not have happened without Krishna's intervention. So now Krishna is speaking to you through the service. And then Krishna speaks to you in person. Generally first in dreams. You come in a dream and he'll say things to you. And then Krishna will come as a person and speak to you. That's the highest that you can reach. At that time, you're already in the spiritual world. This world is the spiritual world. It's not the material world. The material world is a, what do they call it? Paradigm in the spiritual world. That's what the material world is. It's like a different, what do you call it? Dimension. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a different dimension inside the spiritual world. We're always in the spiritual world. If you're not in the spiritual world, you cannot survive. The only thing that survives is the spiritual world. The material world comes and goes inside the spiritual world for Krishna's pastimes. These are pastimes that he's doing in the material world with his devotees and with the demons as well. So, understanding that Krishna wants to talk to us more than we want to talk to him. He wants to talk to us. Like, give you a good example, right? Let's just take your son Govind. Okay? Now, when Govind was, just say, how old are you now, Govind? How much? 10 and a half. Okay, great. Okay, let's just take Govind when he was a 6-year-old. If he decided, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, how would you feel? You'd feel devastated, right? Now, would you wait for him to talk to you, or would you go out of your way to talk to him? That's Krishna. That's Krishna. He's going out of his way to talk to us. But we're so distracted. We think he's not talking to us. He's talking to somebody else. I think I'll do this. I think I'll do that. That'll make me happy. That'll make me happy. You know, I'll make progress in Krishna consciousness. This is our illusion. That's all it is. The fact is, Krishna badly wants to talk to us. One time, Dheeraj Maharaj gave a very nice class on this. You know? I'm going to tell you because it's very important. He said there was once a boy. He fell in love with a girl. The girl wanted nothing to do with it. So what the boy does is he starts strategies, right? Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give her flowers. I'm going to give her chocolates. I'm going to do this on Valentine's Day. And this, that, and the other. Girl, no way. She's not interested. This went on for 5 years. The boy found friends to go and punch the girl, and then he will come and rescue her, and this, that, and the other. Still, the girl is not interested. This went on for 5 years. At the end of the 5th year, the boy was sort of sulking in front of the girl. He realized, I got no more strategies. I got no more moves. You know, he's starting to feel hopeless. And the girl realizes this boy really loves me, you know. So she goes to the boy and she says to the boy, I think I can love you. I think I can love you. This is Giraj Maharaj's own words, okay? The boy shot all the way to the moon. This is what he said. He said he shot all the way to the moon. I mean, just picture that, somebody shooting all the way. And then he said, that's Krishna. Krishna is trying to make us fall in love with him. Trying to make us fall in love with him. Trying to make us fall in love with him. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this, he's doing that. And we've done 155 trillion years already, right? How many trillion lifetimes in 155 trillion years? Trillions of lifetimes. He's chasing us for trillions of lifetimes. Who chases anybody for even 5 years, right? If you chase a girl, if a girl chases a boy, a boy chases a girl, for 5 years, you sort of give up after that. In fact, maybe there's another fish in the sea that belongs to me, right? You know? Right? Everyone continue. Krishna never gives up. What does that tell us? We should never give up. We should say to Krishna, Krishna, I love you. Prabhupada said, the only thing you need to do, come in front of the deity of Krishna and say, Krishna, I am yours, you are mine. Done. Krishna said, you said it. You said it that I am yours and you are mine. Now I am going to trouble you in life. Any of you fell in love with another person in your life? Any boy fell in love with a girl? Did the girl trouble you? No comment. No comments, right? Krishna knows that he's going to trouble us. Why is he going to trouble us? Because he's thinking, man, I chased you for all these years. You should pay some price, right? At least pay some price, man. In fact, I'm the one who had everything. You had nothing. You're a hobo. And I chased you. Can you please pay a little price? And we pay a little price. Krishna, why am I paying a price? How is this fair? Is there a real God? And here's Mother Kunti praying what? Please, Krishna, give me more, give me more. I'm not saying we should do that. I don't think that's wrong. I don't ask anybody, please pray. Please give me more trouble, more misery. Don't pray like that. But when misery comes, inside, smile. Outside, don't be happy. Outside, be very angry, Show your emotion outside. Inside, laugh out loud. Just know that's Krishna. That's Krishna. Every time you have a problem, you should know that is Krishna. He's playing a game with you. Why is he playing that game? So I've fallen out of him. Yasyaham anugranami harishata dhanamshmai, right? In the 10th canto, chapter 88, text 8, Krishna says, when he really loves somebody, he gives them a lot of trouble. He gives them a lot of pain. He gives them so much pain, nobody wants to be around that person. All his caregivers flee. And then what happens? That person has no one to turn to but me. Krishna says. See, Krishna is a very jealous lover. Very jealous lover. If he falls in love with you, you better watch out. You can't look sideways at another person. If you do, you're going to get it from him. And we love looking sideways. We love looking sideways so much, we're cross-eyed. If you really look nicely, I don't think you would see anybody's eyes perfectly aligned. There's a little bit of cross-eyedness going on there. And some people are very cross-eyed. They say, looking London, talking Tokyo. But this is what Lord Balarama came to help us with. He is the spiritual master. Today we can pray to him, oh my dear Lord Balarama, please give me the strength to withstand all of the nonsense that Krishna is going to throw on me. And you please be with me all the time so that we can take care of it. And please, I know how much you love Krishna. Balaram is the supreme personality of Godhead, but he becomes the servant of Krishna. Even though he's equally original, supreme personality of Godhead as Krishna. He prefers to serve Krishna. Why? Service is love. Prabhupada defines the word service as expression of love. Service is love. So Balaram is the master of service. He is the one who can help us have as much service as we want and truly love Krishna and truly please Krishna. And then we achieve the purpose of our life, the meaning and purpose of our life. And that is the purpose of everything we do in Hare Krishna movement. We're so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada brought this to the West. And to some of us who are in the West. And of course, he brought it to the East as well. There is no real East in this world, it's all West. Well, relative East and West, it's all West. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says Paschatya Deshatayana. Even in India, they say that, right? It's all East, it's all West. We're so fortunate that Prabhupada brought love of Krishna to us and said, here, take it. And by the way, he said, you won't be able to take it. You're not capable, you're not qualified, but don't worry, just hang on to my feet. I have the key to the back door of Goloka Vrindavan. I'll open the back door and let you in through the back door. You guys can't come in through the front door, you're too unqualified. One time there was a kirtan going on, Prabhupada was singing, and everybody was dancing like, crazy, right? They were so happy. Prabhupada's doing like rip-roaring kirtan, everybody's dancing like crazy. After the kirtan was happy, Prabhupada was like laughing his head off. And so the devotees said, why are you laughing? He said, well, the demigods were looking and thinking, look at those monkeys dancing. And they were having a great time watching the monkeys dancing. And he was having a great time seeing the demigods laughing. Well, we're nothing better than monkeys. Actually, worse than monkeys in a lot of cases. I am for sure. But the point is, we can go back to Godhead if we clasp the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and the devotees who actually are very, very loyal and faithful to Srila Prabhupada and continue doing whatever minuscule service we can do is not minuscule. there is no minuscule service. Any service that we do is love. And generally in love, they say sweet nothings, right? What does sweet nothings mean? It's nothing, right? Oh, you fall in love with the girl. Oh, her hair is as smooth as silk. I mean, hair is not smooth as silk. It's a disease coming out of the body. How can smooth as silk? Right? I'm sorry I'm saying that. Gross. But the gross is the fact. So my point is, we say things like, the girl says something about the boy, he's so broad-shouldered. What broad shoulders? One small punch in the face, and you see that broad shoulder falling. A lot. So my point is, it's sweet nothings that make up love, right? Love is made of sweet nothings, actually. Think about it. It's made of sweet nothings. Sweet service, no matter how minuscule. It's sweet service, that's love of Krishna. Grab it, even one little drop of that sweet service will give you entry into Krishna's most intimate pastimes. This is Lord Balarama's power. That's why it's called Bal. He can deliver. Ramena, by the way, means blissful ecstasy. Blissful ecstasy. That's what Ramena means. That's what Balaram means. The name Balaram means blissful ecstasy. Everybody wants blissful ecstasy. And Lord Balaram is the one who awards. Spiritual master awards it, right? We say the principle is the spiritual master. If you're not following the spiritual master, if you're not doing what the spiritual master is doing, I don't care how great service you're doing, you fail. Now you might say, well, my spiritual master is not that great, I know all the spiritual masters are great at this, that, and the other. You're a fool. Spiritual master is Sakshat Dvina. It's Krishna on the planet come to hold your hand and take you back. Even if he tells you something that sounds wrong, don't question. Try to figure it out. Maybe ask another spiritual master if you don't understand what that instruction means. But never cut your spiritual master. Even if it means there might be some disagreements amongst us as devotees. Disagreements happen because we are individuals. If they're individuals, there will be disagreement. If we all one, there will be no disagreement, right? That's Mayavad. We're not Mayavadis. We are personalists. That means there's going to be differences. And Prabhupada said, differences, this is his own word, okay? He says differences is fun. Now figure that one out. How many times we've had differences with others and we feel miserable, right? And Prabhupada said it's fun. How is it fun? I mean, I'm still figuring it out, so I don't have the answer. I'm hoping to find the answer one day, hopefully in my experience. That, having differences and conflicts is fun. How is it fun? Maybe options, right? There's different options. And then you're allowed to do your own thing, the other one's allowed to do their own thing. It's a big world, 9 billion people, right? You've got a lot of people to preach to in this world. There's no shortage of customers in this world. Right? You've got a lot of clients. From the poorest to the richest. Right? From the least intelligent to the most intelligent. From the shortest to the tallest. From the blackest to the whitest. Whichever one we will take, right? We've got a lot of customers. So, long answer to your short question. Does that make sense to you?
You answered my 2 questions.
2 questions. Yes. That's bonus. Okay, thank you.
Very much.
What was the second question?
So
Just
my second question was that if those problems are coming from Krishna as a jealousy, how to deal with it?
Okay.
You already answered that.
There are 2 ways, like Krishna says, do it with association and alone through discipline and your own progress that you make. But the other is in association. Association always helps. Always helps. It's the biggest answer to anything. Prabhupada said 90% of our success comes from association. And he also said 90% comes from our chanting. So there's both of them. Our chanting and association, both. Krishna and the association there, Balaram and the chanting side. individual self.
So, do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. So,
Is that okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So, it's very important to have association.
Yes.
But how to find association?
Oh my God. I'm surprised you asked me that question. I thought you found a lot of association. Association means persons who are conducive to you, who think like you, want to be like you know, so that you have some affinity there, and that makes it easier. Start there. Start with people who like to be with you. And the one person who loves to be with you all the time is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. He comes in that book form to be with us all the time. So always read the Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning and try and remember what you read during the day, and read again, same thing in the night to see what you remember. That way Srimad Bhagavatam is with you all the time. All the books are there all the time. So many classes, all these are associations. See everything and everyone as a person. Don't see things as impersonal. See everything as personal. So in that sense, this temple is also a person. When you walk into this temple, think that you've come to a person, and that person is embracing you. And you notice that, right? When you come to the temple, you feel happy? Yes. So we have lots and lots and lots of association. Now, our biggest association is sitting in our heart. Prabhupada said, Super Soul means the Lord, the spiritual master, and all their associates. Now, Lord is Krishna. How many associates does Krishna have? Now, spiritual master is, in your case, Radhanath Maharaj. How many associates does Radhanath Maharaj have? Uncountable, right? Pretty much. All these people are sitting in your heart. Your question should be, how do I handle all this association? I mean, this is overwhelming. I've got an overwhelming number of people with me. You should never feel lonely as a result. All these people are sitting right inside you. That's how much Krishna loves us. He packed all of them inside our heart. It is said, inside the devotee's heart lives the entire spiritual world. Whoa, how big is that heart? Right? So all of them are sitting in your heart. So now on, you should just be smiling all the time and thinking, man, I have this association, I have that association, I have so much association. There is no shortage of association. And then everybody you see outside, you see them as hopping from the inside, hopping out, and then being with you. Some of them jumped out from the heart and came outside. And you can say, oh, I can't put it back inside again. Are you having that association? They can cast them and put them back inside. That's what Bilvamangal Thakur did to Krishna. He caught him and put him back inside. He couldn't see, right? So he caught Krishna and put him inside. Then he saw Krishna all the time. So for us, association is the greatest boon that we have. And we should take advantage of that boon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Sorry, all of the questions asked by one person. Anybody got a really burning question or say point?
Can you
Yeah.
can you mention also that when you are doing your nature, you attract people that nature, and that's good association. Maybe.
When you do your nature?
Yeah, when you're determined to use your nature in Krishna's service, you end up finding people that are also interested.
Oh yeah, that's very true. That's a very good point that another Braj Prabhu makes. And that is, as we're doing things in our lives, that is our nature, anything our nature, what happens? People see that you are doing what you love and you're loving what you do, right? When you do what you love and love what you do, that's your nature. But when you do that, what will happen is you'll attract people who like that. And they'll become really close friends of yours. Even strangers. You meet them for the first time and then they feel like they like you, you know? And they start building an association with you. You see what I'm saying? Those are people that we were meant to touch. And the acharyas say you are meant to touch a certain number of people in this world. If you don't touch them, you have to come back to this material world until you touch them. That's why everybody must preach. If you don't preach, I'm not a preacher, no one will listen to me. Good, very good, come back next lifetime. Again you say, I'm not a preacher, no one will listen to me. Okay, come back another lifetime. One day a 2x4 hits you, And you realize, hey, I better start preaching now. Because I have learned some things, right? It's like Prabhupada said to Saraswati when Saraswati was asked the question, right? Saraswati, who is Krishna? And Saraswati said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada said, she's the best preacher. There were big Ganga people there at that time. I'm sure some of them got here in the egos, but that's Prabhupada. We already know so much about Krishna consciousness in the sense that we've heard Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Prabhupada, devotees, temple, all the wonderful things. Just bring people to these people. That's all that's preaching. So if you touch your quota, then you can go back to God. So every one of us has a quota. I'm sorry I give you such bad news, but every one of us has a quota. You better preach, preach, and preach. Open your mouth, preach. Open your mouth, preach. Yadita Krishna. Not, Trump Upadesh, or Modi Upadesh, or some Upadesh of politics. Don't worry, these politicians are good people. Let them play politics. Our purpose is to connect people to Krishna. That's all. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya. Vanchakalpa Chudasya Kripa Sindhu Vidyacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha Anantpuri Vaishnava Ki Jaya Sri Krishna Balarama Ki Jaya Sri Balaram Purnima Mahatsava Ki Jaya Jaya Gaur Premanande Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jaya